In this video, I would like to show you another type of vulnerability which is related to web servers. I think some of you already used online services where you can ping remote host or perform port and host scanning or something like this. These websites provide different services and in most cases they rely on operating system. They just used built-in utilities of operating system to perform their services, for example ping, DNS lookup and so on. It is very comfortable on the one hand because no need to design and develop own application. But on the other hand, there is a potential danger. What's the danger, you may ask? The problem is that websites do not sanitize user input, and user can enter any command which will be executed. This is potential vulnerability. Let's have a look at this closer. Let's imagine that we have a website where we can ping remote host. As you can see, everything works well. User entered IP address and got result. But let's consider another situation. User entered combined command. The second command reads the content of passwd file. This file contains information about local accounts in Linux machine. And look what we have. We have ping result and the content of passwd file. So the web server is vulnerable, and we can execute any command. Even we can get remote shell to given host. Why does it happen? Let's consider some PHP code fragment of vulnerable server. Here we have user input. Then we try to execute it. As you can see, there is no verification of entered data, and everything what user typed is immediately executed by operating system. So if you wish to test website, just enter any command. But the commands must be typed with a combination of special symbols. For example, when using double ampersand, the second command is executed only if the first command was executed successfully. In the next video, we will create remote shell with attacker's machine using command injection vulnerability. In this video, I would like to demonstrate how to gain remote access to the web server using command injection vulnerability. Metasploitable already has built-in web server which is intentionally vulnerable. On this server, we can test different vulnerability scenarios. So Metasploitable is running. Now, on Kali or any other machine, open web browser and enter the following address. This IP belongs to Metasploitable virtual machine, and you will probably have another address. Now, let's move the command injection section to test given vulnerability. On this web page, we have option to make DNS request to find out IP address of domain name. As you can see, this option works well. Now let's try to find out whether the server has vulnerability. Just enter some basic Linux commands, for example this one. And we have the following result. Great! So we know that the server is vulnerable. Let's try another combination of commands. From here, we can see the current user and current directory. Most probably, this user has limited privileges. Let's run ifconfig command. The command cannot be executed. It doesn't matter. Even with limited privileges, we will be able to establish remote shell with the attacker's machine. We have two ways how to make it. And all of them we are going to try in this video. In the first way, we just drop malicious file on the server and try to execute it remotely. In the second one, We don't need to upload any files, we just execute predefined command. In the first method, we are going to upload backdoor on the server, and here is the list of all the steps we need to do to gain remote access. First of all, we need to generate backdoor using Metasploit utility, msfvenom. What does this command mean? Option P is payload. In our case, we are using PHP interpreter with reverse shell. Lport and lhost are port and IP address of attacker. In our case, it's Kali machine. We are going to save executable file in the text format, and later you will understand why. Don't forget to launch web server in Kali, because otherwise we will not be able to download backdoor to Metasploitable from Kali. So we completed the first step. On the second step, we need to start a listener on Kali machine, because we're expecting incoming connection from a vulnerable server. The listener can be launched the same way like any other exploits in Metasploit. Now, we need to upload our backdoor on the server from Kali machine. If vulnerable server is running on Linux system, it is easy to do. Just enter the following command. To make sure that the file is downloaded, let's execute another command. OK, the file is downloaded. And the last step we need to do is to change its extension from txt to PHP. To perform this action, execute this command. Everything is ready. Let's execute our backdoor. In the browser, enter the following URL. And we have remote session. I hope now you understand why we uploaded backdoor with a text extension. Now, let's try the second method. Here, we need to perform only 2 steps. Let's do it. Launch the following exploit module. As the target, we are going to use PHP. Our exploit generated a command which we need to execute on the vulnerable server. At the same time, we have a listener expecting incoming connection. Let's execute the command. And again we have remote session. This method is much easier and more reliable than the previous one.